It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television, and we're very, very happy that you can also join us today. My name is Omololu Rosonwu. Today on Talk Point, we'll be looking at youth and national development. You know that the role of youth in national development cannot be overemphasized. They play a crucial role and they are important to national assets and development of the nation. They also make up 60 to 65% of the nation's population, and they are very, very key. A set of people that are productive. The age bracket is usually between 18 and 35 to 40, in line with the United Nations standards. More often than not, this you say they are often left without any meaningful contribution to national development. And we've seen that over time, successive governments and the present administration is bringing up more youth in governance and in positions of authority. That's what we'll be looking at today. And I have a guest in the studio that will be joining me to analyze this. He is a public affairs analyst, a youth advocate, or youth coach, as I may put it, and also an entrepreneur. His name is Yomi Akinsola. Yomi, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Thank you very much. It's my privilege to be here this afternoon.
Yes, when we say youth and national development, can you just push and marry the two together? Who is a youth? Because I put a bracket, but from your own perspective, who do you think is a youth and the age bracket?
It's very important that, yes, we put side by side what United Nations define as the brackets for youth. But I would reduce it further to the ages of maybe 15, 16.
Really?
Yes, and the reason is clear. For those that watch football, there's a new sensation in the football. And last season, his name is Lamine Yamal. He plays for Barcelona. And this boy is 17 years old. This time last year, this boy was 16, and he was the catalyst through which Spain was able to win the Euros of year 2024. So 2025, he was a pivotal member of the team that won a treble for the Barcelona team at the age of 17. So it now makes me look that, you can think that football is just physical, but there's a mental aspect of it. There's the intelligence. You should do like this, you make some calculations, and you are delivering at the highest stage. At the highest stage at that age. So it takes me that if you sit down and look at the Nigerian youth is boisterous in nature, is talented, is creative. You put a Nigerian youth in a place that is well set out. It will be like it's just what you call plug and play. They will just find expression and they will succeed. So I would say that the youth within the Nigerian context should not be reduced to the age of 18. I can begin to tell you that you find amazing young people, ages 15, 16, 17. Those in the Western world, they're already making the most of these young minds. So why do we throw them away? Like you said in your intro, that Nigeria's population is about 60% of the youth. And those are the things that makes me think that Nigeria is actually blessed, not about the mineral resources, but it's about the fact that it's a productive population. So what you need to do is to ensure that that population is well taken care of, well educated, well given an environment that would help them to manifest their gifts and their talents. For instance, Japan is an aging population. The average age of the Japanese right now is about 70, 80.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they have 1 child, 2 children. And that is why they're having issues. God has blessed us. We have enough, many children. So what are we doing with that population? Are we harnessing the gifts of having such a productive age? Hope we're not losing them to drug abuse. Hope we're not losing them to human trafficking. Hope we're not losing them to crime. So that is where the state comes in, and that's where the society also comes in. You've got to protect them. If you want to know how a country would look like in the next 30 years, check out the way they take care of their youth.
Yes, it's good that you have given us that background, but let's also look at the development or their contributions rather to the development in the productive sector. Let's take goods and services, let's take production, let's look at employment. Now, they are also very key to the labor force. Now, how do you think they can be encouraged more to go into production, to go into entrepreneurial development, rather than waiting on white-collar jobs?
All right. I know that the NYC, the federal government through the NYC brought up a lot of programs for those, those 3 weeks. And then there was there's a period we had the MDG goals. Now it has been expanded to SDG and all of those things. So, and you can also pick up different skills in practical terms, side by side with your degree that you already have. But I'm glad with what the present federal government is doing with the issue of possibly NEL fund for students. Those that are educated, that are in the tertiary institutions but do not have funds. They won't have issues with them dropping out of school as a result of financial funds. Constraints. But then we now move to the other entrepreneurial aspects. Now, one of the challenges I found that a lot of youth is that many blank out their minds. They just see that anything in Nigeria is bad. So the moment you have such a mindset, you're not going to even look at you not even look at the silver lining. You wouldn't see it. Why? Because you have already blanked your mind out. There are a lot of things. I am aware that Smedan, there are some opportunities that come through Smedan. I'm also aware that BOI, Bank of Industry, has some different packages through which a lot of young people that want to go into entrepreneurship can actually latch on. So it's left for them to open up their minds. I think this is the only country we have. Many will talk about traveling now, Japan and all of those things. I don't have a problem with it. For me, different strokes for different folks. But you ask yourself that, look, not all of us is going to travel out.
Yep.
So, and at the same time, not those that have traveled out, they cannot build the country physically while they are away. So when they decide to come back home, what would the country look like? Would it be a country that they would want to, retire into if they want to settle down much later? So it means that it's very important that we build the youths that have chosen to remain at home. And they will tell you that, look, we want to build our country. After all, these opportunities are available for us to tap into. So for me, I would say that the National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do. Let the young people, let the youths know the things that you're doing. Be in our faces, in the social media, be in our faces. Yes, I've seen a couple of publicity jingles on TV, and then I've seen some on
I think
social media.
have started doing something.
They're doing something, and one of the things, like, when you say Nigeria happens to me, they connote negative things that have happened. When you say Nigeria has happened to me. So I like what they did. They turned lemon to lemonade by saying that, oh, Nigeria happened to me, and they began to speak about the positive stories of Nigerians that have benefited from government policies and made their lives better. But to what extent are other Nigerians aware of these things? So it means that you have to really be, as the negative news sells more than positive news. So it takes an extra effort for you to make them see opportunities that are bound around them. And I can tell you, where I am domiciled here in Lagos, I know the Lagos State government is doing a lot in terms of different programs that will enable people, youths now, to latch on to make their lives better. So all I will say is that youth should have a mindset of there are opportunities. Am I going after them? When you graduate out after school, what do? You begin to, go look for jobs and all that. It's your duty to begin to look for jobs. Submit your CVs. In our time, we had to submit CVs. And okay, are there interview sessions going on here? Do I qualify to go through this interview session and all that? That's the same way for you to also look out for opportunities. But of course, the NOA was set up to do a specific duty. And the Ministry of Communication, Information also, they have a lot to do. Are the opportunities enough? They are not enough. But of course, the ones that are on ground, let those that qualify for it, let them be aware. It will surprise you that by the time NEL Fund released the data as regards enrollment for loans, at some point, it was in northern students
that took advantage of it.
Yes. So I keep asking myself that if you claim that that section of the country are uneducated, are backward. But when something that will better their life
took
came, they
advantage
took
of it.
advantage of it.
So what are the other sections of the country looking at?
So what were they looking at? Exactly. I saw an interview of a young, of a youth that was complaining that they did not get enough sensitization. I asked myself questions. What were the sensitization that the northern youths got for them to be able to apply en masse for that NEL fund scheme? And so there are many other schemes that are available that some of the youths, they're not aware of. So would I put the total blames on them? No, I will not. But I will say that it is your life and it is what you want to make of it that matters. So that's why I will share the blame on the federal government, which has a deliberate responsibility to also inform, bombard the social media, bombard the WhatsApp group, all of this. If you're a youth, either through your local government, either through your state government, you can benefit from it. Just last week, I'm aware that the federal government, I think the president, I wouldn't say it's a...
There was an
executive order whereby if you are attending technical college, you could get some funds at the end of the month. So I saw the news. I don't have anybody directly that is attending the technical college, but I found it that this is very good. In that technical college, it means that you are using your hands to get skills. It's the blue-collar job. I have some people abroad that will tell you that we do things ourselves in this part of the world, because if you call someone to come and fix maybe your AC for you, the cost of consultation alone is enough for you to try and buy a new one. So that's the same level we should get our blue-collar people to our technical. So it's an opportunity for the young ones to also, and that's nation building. You are reducing poverty across board.
Yes, you're a youth advocate. I want us to harp more on changing the perception of the youth towards engaging positively in national development. Most times we find out that they are always on the social media on negative issues, attacking the government, talking against one policy or the other. They are not always there looking at the positive things that come out of those things and the advantages that they can take when it comes to latching on some of government policies that would make the difference. In situations like this, what would you tell them?
One of the things I would always say to the youths, I tell them that first, I personally am an unrepentant believer in my country. Why? Because if I get to another country, I'll be required to get either a visa for me to be granted access, or for me to get their own passport, and it takes process. I don't need. The only process I need is that I was born by both parents and I'm from this part for me to have that green passport. So, but I will say this as regards the government. The government has to give the youth a sense of belonging. It's very, very important. If I do not see myself as a part of this project, I'm not likely to give you my very best. If I'm a stakeholder, if youth see themselves as stakeholders in a project called Nigeria, you will see that they will be the catalyst for production. You see that they will be the catalyst for development.
Yep.
So it's very important that on the government side that you ensure that they see themselves as stakeholders. That's on the government side. And how do you do that? You come out on a daily basis, whatever policy you are going to do, explain to them very well. And then they say, look, it's not enough for you to be emotional about it. Because there are times that a nurse or a doctor might see that someone is going through pains. He has come to the doctor for treatment. And the doctor knows that you have to go through this process for us to salvage the situation for you. So if that is what you have to go through, no matter how much of emotions that you have as a doctor, as regards that patient, you have to suppress it so that person will be saved eventually. That is what you will do. That's what I expect the government to also do. Explain to the youth, carry them along, make them see that they are stakeholders, that this country belongs to them. Anybody that is already in his 40s, 50s, 60s are already on the other divide, easing out. So the youths are the ones that are taking over baton of leadership and national development. So what do? Recalibrate their mind and make them see that they are stakeholders. Now, let me flip to the side of the youth. This is your country, belongs to you. You can say that, so the government have not done things well. I'll give you an example. Some of us, when our parents did some things, we're like, I'm going to do it differently. Today we are parents. We're like, now I understand why my father did some of these things. Why? Because we are going through it.
Experience is now teaching you.
It's something like, this was why our parents did what they did and how they do it. But now we are educated, we are more exposed. So possibly we could do it better and make it simpler. But we understood their decision now that we are there. So the youths need to understand that this is their country and they have to have a mindset that we've got to build it. Not all of us can travel out. No matter how much you try, everybody cannot jackpot. So if everybody cannot travel out, the onus lies on us to take the baton of leadership to ensure that the country that we want is the country that we'll get. At times that is tough. Yes, it's very tough. We know. So I just want to encourage you that don't make blanket statements that Nigeria is finished. Nigeria is not finished. As of today, thank God, it's a Nigerian that is the reigning African footballer of the year. Penultimate year, it was also a Nigerian, Osime.
That tells you that they're doing great. They're doing good outside. So
yes.
Now that brings me to this question, as you have mentioned that. Why is it that you find more Nigerians doing greater things outside Nigeria than in Nigeria? Would you say it is publicity or it's...
No, I do not think it's publicity. I just think that it's an environmental thing. It's an environmental thing. Take for instance, last week, there was a school in that did WAEC, and they had to start using their phone as torchlights for them to write exam and then it was said that this organizational body was. I read the statement that they issued. They said that they wanted to prevent the exam from leaking. And
why would they carry it out in the night?
Thank you. So it only goes to show you that, look, you want these students, you want to examine them. They've gone through 6 years of secondary school tutelage. So you want to examine them. You did not give them the best of environments for them to write the examination. What do you expect the results is going to be like? That's those children, possibly some of their parents cannot afford sending them abroad. For those their parents can send them abroad, automatically sends them abroad. 3 years, 4 years, they have degrees and their lives are better. They're open to better opportunities. So what you need to do is to start changing this environment that we have through which our youths are existing. The environment is not too conducive for them to make a better life. If they have a conducive environment, it's not stressful for them to get into school. Many of Nigerian youths are very brilliant, very creative. So if they find a good environment, they will flourish. Make this environment a better one. An average Nigerian youth will flourish. Also, even as tough as the environment is, I've heard stories of Nigerian youths doing very well, even if within these shores, they never traveled before. But how many of them will be strong enough, rugged and dogged enough for them to get to that top like a few have been able to do? So what you need to do is to just make that environment very, very conducive. If you want to go into academics, make it conducive for them. If you want to go into maybe the blue collar line, as we have said, and then make it more conducive. Don't make it stressful for them. Some of them don't have the stamina that some of our parents had because of the existing realities in their time. But this particular generation, do they have to go through those harrowing experiences?
Yes. One thing that strikes me is the level of non-perseverance of the youth. Okay. Our parents went through certain levels and they came out of it, they came tougher and they achieved. But I find out that the youth of these days do not want to go, they do want to persevere, they do not. They want things done at the snap of the finger. How can we change this? Because there is no shortcut to progress. There's no shortcut to better development.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm going to answer you from two perspectives. First, it is a sign of the generation that we are in. In those days, you had to send letters to communicate, and then letter might take 6 months for it to get to destination. Later, travel time for letters reduced from 6 months to possibly 3 months. Later, 2 months. Now, technology has simplified everything. Now, they go on internet. They see how their contemporaries in other countries are living life and they're living better life. What stops them from also living life like that? But I agree with you that life is not about switch. You switch and then you move from one point A to point F. No, there should still be B, C, D, E, F before you get to F, right? So that takes me to the question of mentoring, coaching. It's clear that we have lacked mentors, people that will follow you up. It's clear that we have lacked coaches that will say that we will nurture, will put these children through incubating process, and we are going to raise them to become greater than we were. So it's now a deliberate effort by the society. When I mean society, the government is under the society, because it is what the society wants to do that the government will inadvertently find itself doing. So I would say that we should coach and we should mentor our youths more. Let us not be so hard on them. Life has changed. We are not going back to those times. Although I know in some parts of the world where war and some tough issues are happening globally is affecting some youths. But if you are going to look at the way the average Nigerian youth is, at times I say that like the average Nigerian youth wants to be like an American, whereby we are so European.
Is that not looking at westernization? Creeping into the society, westernization?
It's not creeping in, it has taken over. Yes, now the technology is from the West, our education is from the West, our dressing, the way I'm dressed is from the West. So even the theories, economic theories that we talk about, yes, I know that in this part of the world, if you go back history, we had our civilization. And our civilization, I can tell you for a fact that if it was not truncated, we would not be, where they think that we'll be.
Let me ask you this question, because we're almost rounding up now, another 1 minute or two. Now, looking at that, what are the things, the moral values the youth should imbibe? Because westernization has crept in. Yes, we agree. Okay. But what are the moral values, looking at our cultural background and the things that we're supposed to do rightly? What are the things we're supposed to imbibe?
The first one I will talk about is identity. No matter what you give me to want to become an American, I don't want. I am proudly a Yoruba man, a proud Nigerian. The sense of identity is very important. Let them have pride in who they are. First. Second, values like integrity. That the name, your name, let there be something great about your name. When they mention your name, let they ask that, oh, is it so person? Why? Because of the things that are associated with you. It's not shame, and it's not relegated to money. We need to start recalibrating their mind that, look, it's not the wealth that makes you great.
I agree with you to some extent. Let me also say that these days, when you find children born outside Nigeria, they use the native names, not even the British or the American. They use the native names.
Sense of identity.
Accepted. And they also now take advantage of that because they want them to also help their society.
Exactly. So, beauty in the name. What is your name? Integrity, patience. A lot of our youth are not patient. Maybe they try it once, they try it second time, third time, they give up. No. The person that manufactured or invented the bulb, it was said, we read, that it took him thousands of times for him to finally get it. So it means that we tell our youth, keep knocking, keep hitting, persevere, be patient. And lastly, I will say this, always seek knowledge. Always seek knowledge. Be knowledgeable, and let me tell you, there will be a time that the knowledge that you have amassed will come in handy.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been speaking with Yomi Akinsola, a public affairs analyst, a youth advocate, and also an entrepreneur. We've been discussing issues of youth and national development, and that he has been able to give us some thoughts, some of his ideas, and some of the things that are expected of the youth and also of the country on itself, so that everything can come together to ensure a better society. Thank you so much, Yomi Akinsola, for being part of Talk Point.
Thank you so much for having me, sir. It's my pleasure.
Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 still remain the lines to always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure you do what is right to ensure that Lagos and indeed Nigeria gets better. Omololu Rosanwo is my name. See you some other time.
That is being said about something new.
Our job is just to make you richer.
Only on Bet Niger.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it, the Bet Niger Sports Show on LTV. It was a mistake me making this hairstyle. Like my hairdresser picked the color.
Nah, it's not possible.
And I love it.
Yeah, you
I don't love Chelsea. Oh my God. Cut!
Bet Niger. Reward for passion.
Looking for a program that would keep you informed, get you involved, and make your voice count? Then tune in to Citizens Gate, where we'll update you about government activities and the issues that may be affecting your community. On Citizens Gate, you also have the opportunity to communicate with government office holders and let them know how you feel and where the shoe pinches. With Citizens Gate, you are literally a stakeholder. Join us every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. on Lagos Television, and let's build a greater and smarter Lagos. Citizens Gate, a program that connects you to the government of Lagos State and needs activities, is now on television. Brought to you by Lagos State's Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement. Citizens Gate, a must watch.
Your love is sweetness, oh, hello.
The Conversation. Let the conversation continue.
We must make headway as you've charted the course. The people deserve no less.
We have started the conversation with them, and I want to tell you that it's ongoing effort, and we'll continue to have the conversation.
Let the conversation continue.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Every soul deserves a form of fragrance, but an important fragrance that man must have is that fragrance created by Allah, as it envelopes the entirety of man and completes its essence.
Fragrance, your weekly dose of spiritual nourishment and guidance.
Sharing the fragrance of love, sharing the fragrance of happiness, because women are the fragrance of life.
Join Tinuke and Fadila on Fragrance every Friday at 9:30 p.m. on Lagos Television. For sponsorship and advert placement, please call the following numbers. Fragrance, establishing the essence of humanity.
Hello and welcome to the news at 2 on Lagos Television. I am Tinuke Oloruntoyin Folami. Nigeria's Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, says increased manpower will boost the efforts to curb oil theft in the country's maritime space. He said the entire personnel of the Nigerian Navy at over